Hi, William here with ALG Lawyers, immigration attorneys in the Los Angeles County area. Today we're going to be talking about USCIS furloughs. And for those of you who don't know, a furlough is essentially a layoff, although by dictionary term they tend to sugarcoat it as a leave of absence. So these are the topics we're going to be going over. We're going to start with the budget shortfall from USCIS, the coronavirus stimulus package, which covers more than just immigration, the furlough itself as a result, and the potential impact of the future and what may happen next. Now, the budget shortfall, aka the cry for help, happened in May 2020. USCIS is basically notifying Congress that they are going to face a massive projected shortfall of $1.2 billion, and that if there isn't an emergency bailout, which would come soon from Congress, that USCIS may have to look into adjusting their operational costs and potentially affecting the financial well-being of thousands of USCIS employees through furloughs, which we will go over. Without this funding, they claim that they will not have any sufficient funds to maintain its operation throughout the end of the fiscal year or to fund its operations during the first year of the fiscal year of 2021. For those of you who don't know, USCIS is primarily fee funded. 97% of funds deposited are basically make up the USCIS budget. Now, USCIS is hoping that their emergency bailout would be covered under the coronavirus stimulus package, which is still being hotly debated between the Republicans and Democrats in Congress. The relief package, as you all know, is something that basically aims to help the economy recover financially and help people affected by the spread of coronavirus. It's a measure to address like various facets of like U.S. society, and you may know it because it took form in one of the measures as a $1,200 check that came in your mail. Well, USCIS's angle on this is that they want them to basically decide on the bailout as soon as possible so that they wouldn't have to furlough their workers at the end of August, which I know it's September by now, but this is like what it was at back then. The political stalemate has caused a lot of issues, whereas Republicans want to narrow the legislation, Democrats want to expand into sweeping reforms. You know, Republicans first introduced this as part of like a $1 trillion opening bid, and Democrats were like, no, $3.4 trillion. This is a political issue. We have to take sides. There's no compromise. You guys have to do this for the American people in the way that we see it. And it caused a lot of issues and delayed funding for USCIS. Now, talking about the furlough itself, it was originally scheduled for August 3rd, 2020, but got postponed to August 30th. I know it's September. The number to be furloughed was 13,400 out of the 20,000 workers. That is a lot of workers to be furloughed for what was already an overworked organization. USCIS has stated that the potential causes of furlough were decreased receipts due to COVID-19. Although there have been criticizers who have said otherwise and said that although they may have had temporary decreased receipts, that they should have known their precarious financial situation already, and prior to the COVID-19 happening, that wasn't the only reason that this happened, that this furlough resulted. They say it's because of fiscal mismanagement, you know, hiring more people to counter fraud, you know, complex rules of discretionary decision making, where before there were people who were eligible for sure for immigration visas. USCIS decided to add an extra step and said, even though we know, we're still going to have another discretionary decision step on top of that. Suspensions of premium processing service, which is like I-140 petitions originally, like if you pay like more than $1,000 something, you get to reduce your 6-month processing time to 15 days. Well, they're taking stuff like that out of certain petitions, which would just cause more delays down the line. Policy concerns, public charge final ground rule. If you take advantage of certain public benefits, you may be deported as a public charge. The rule itself is very complicated. I'm not going to get into it right now in this video. scenario. You have duplicative interviews for clearly eligible applicants. That speaks for itself. They would interview you even when you're sure to have gotten that visa. And then lack of oversight of USCIS management is one of the final concerns. Now, obviously, having less workers for USCIS will cause the processing times for your immigration applications to basically slow to a halt. It'd be like trying to fit millions of people through a single door to get into the room on the other side. Like this picture right here, you're going to see loss of employment of thousands of workers, continued immigration processing delays, naturalization citizenship delays, preventing DACA renewals, asylum application delays, hiring and retention losses of business employees, delays in response from the USCIS Ombudsman Office regarding case assistance, administration review, and working with the USCIS on finding solution to administration of immigration benefits. It's going to just be much more difficult to basically get your adjustment of status through your I-140 petitions, your perm applications, all these different kind of immigration applications, and especially with the current anti-immigration policy set by the Trump administration generally. And we'll have to see in the future how this plays out. But for now, it's looking to like it's going to go downhill a bit before it goes back uphill. So what's next? Like I said earlier, we don't know, but we know the problem is money. Politics, yes, but money mostly as the ends. And we have to look at some of the USCIS policies that may have been causing this shortfall and these delays that have increased the costs, and try to consider alternatives to them. Like, for example, this USCIS October 2017 rescission of deference to prior immigration petitions. Well, for like the past decade, USCIS has basically been looking at past petitions, situations, and saying, okay, since the current petition looks very similar to the past one that we approved, we're going to approve this current one too. You know, we don't have to go through a case by case. These days, because they rescinded that, they have to go by a case-by-case situation, which has caused more delays. There's mandated interviews where eligibility is not in questions for certain type of immigrants, whereas before the USCIS, you know, typically had discretion to look at you and say that, okay, this guy doesn't look like he's going to commit any fraud or anything like that, so we're not going to have him do an additional interview, right? Because they seem like they're good to go. Now it's mandatory, so they have to give you that interview, which will definitely add more time and which would definitely increase the cost. And overall, this is comes down to an oversight and accountability issue, which Ayla had pointed out, in that because USCIS has been mismanaging their finances and their time and their discretionary decision making has made things extremely inefficient to what was already an organization that had a growing like base case list for immigration applications. Burdensome and complex analysis regulations such as the public charge rule, which has been changed like 3 times in this past 2 decades, has made things very difficult. Like public charge, I won't really get into that, but essentially it's just like if you take advantage of certain public benefits, you may be deported as a public charge. And discretionary rules, which basically state that even if you're eligible for certain immigration applications, the USCIS officers may still have an additional discretion to look at your paper and then say, that's not good enough for us, we're going to need more information, or we're still going to deny your petition. Overall, all this has just made things extremely slow, and it's no wonder that the budget shortfall situation may have happened. Like I said, we don't know exactly what sources, what reasonings play into the furlough situation right now, or the budget shortfall. All we know is that there are many sides taken on this issue, and that everyone is putting out their input of what they think is happening. But at the end of the day, they need money, and their solution is to go to Congress for a bailout request. And because that doesn't appear to be happening anytime soon, it's looking like immigration application and processing for all immigrants and non-immigrants will be slowing down, and the furlough situation may cause it to take a while before things start getting back up to speed. All right, and if you want to contact us and learn more about ALG Lawyers, you can just contact this number right here, 213-384-3300. Send us a message at USA, because we're all about America, at alglawyers.com, and visit us at our website at alglawyers.com. We hope you enjoyed this video. I know I've been taking a little longer with 10 minutes on this, but just wanted to keep you guys interested on the current issues that are being addressed in America, especially under this coronavirus situation. I hope you guys stay safe. We'll be posting this as frequently as we can, and see you guys later.